Tales of Estolia. Volume 1. The Promise of Zacharias. Part 5. According to Prophecy. Chapter 3. Return. Six weeks later, when my advanced mathematical modeling class discussed the ways that human behavior could be turned into discrete data points, and studied from a pure mathematical perspective, I was, I must admit, uninterested. Out of sheer curiosity, with so much data available, I chose to use the Strellarin for the last 5 capítulos. I mapped the ways that they met and married, the ambitions and actions of their children, and input the data into the computer model. I expected to see a spaghetti-like tangle with clumps and thin spots, which was what my study partner's results resembled. Instead, I got a network with connections as purposeful as a handful of spaghetti thrown at the wall. The results for the Strellarin were enough to bring a prickle of awareness down my spine. There were strong connections, and a nearly symmetrical mesh-like pattern wrapping almost perfectly in a sphere. Only a few points in the model showed the fraying of losses felt by the leadership. And even in those situations, the other threads in the model were already filling in the emptiness, shoring up the weak spots, and bringing cohesion to the whole. I was seeing the hand of deity in the affairs of all Estolians. Jermaine Caldwell, Inscrito. The airport limousine pulled to a halt near her front door. Callista climbed out and looked at the familiar building as if she'd never seen it before. Her home. She swallowed down the tears that threatened to swamp her. When she last saw the building, the sun was setting, and she'd drawn Orion's attention to the glorious colors in the sky. At the time, she felt like the luckiest woman alive. She had a brother who cared about her, and exceptional parents. Her family made it possible for her to experience the freedom of college, without the risks of living alone. Her inner confidence was gone, and she no longer felt excitement at the untapped possibilities of her first year of college. An ominous foreboding cast a shadow over her spirit. Being alone was her greatest fear, and with her family gone, she'd be alone for the rest of her life. Before she was discharged from the clinic in California, they set up a series of thrice-weekly physical therapy appointments for the first 3 months. They would re-evaluate her progress at that time. Using her cane, she walked carefully towards the door. When she opened it, she felt the emotional impact like a physical blow. The Christmas tree. Brown. Dead needles scattered on the floor and the presents. The musty smell of dead pine filled the air. She was told that her bills were being paid while she was incapacitated in hospital. But nobody had stepped into the apartment. She limped past the dead pine tree until she was standing outside of Orion's bedroom. After a brief hesitation, she entered his room. The clothing he'd worn to work on that fateful day was still lying in a crumpled heap. He would have picked everything up when he got home. Except he never did. She bent over and picked up his shirt. The faint scent hit her a solid blow, and she half collapsed on his bed, curling up in a ball and sobbing. She would never see him again. Never see their parents. She would be alone for the rest of her life. And she couldn't stand the thought of the empty days, months, years ahead.